There's always that one individual so selfless and caring. The world still has caring people. Getting unexpected help is a joy for us. That's why at Prudential Life, we've introduced Ultimate, the no-lapse guarantee on your Premier and Classic farewell plans. The biggest challenge for most clients having a funeral policy is the fact that when they are unable to pay premiums due to financial challenges, the policies elapse and the full benefit falls off. We have introduced the no-lapse guarantee on our funeral plans. This ensures that you don't lose your full benefit during challenging financial moments. Prudential, always listening, always understanding.
RMG Ghana Limited. The mentorship sessions are aimed at, yes, inspiring our students, but more than that, to avert their minds to other areas in the sciences that they may not have thought about or known about. This morning, our mentor for today is Francis Appiah Obrekwan. Francis Obrekwan is the CEO and co-founder of Agro Center. A graduate from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST, he majored in materials engineering. Francis has over 10 years' experience in software development lifecycle, software quality assurance, product development and innovations, business development and marketing. Francis has worked in key software development companies in Ghana, notably Text Ghana, CoreNet Limited, and was part of the initial core team that moved Isoko, a market information system platform that delivers market information to smallholder farmers via SMS, from the idea stage into a full functional product. Francis has worked in other startup ventures, one notably being Swapaholics, which was an interactive platform that connects individuals and businesses together in a social setting to exchange products and services without the need for money. With his passion for innovation and technology being a critical game changer in the agricultural landscape in Ghana and Africa at large, Francis leads the Agro Center team in rolling out innovative solutions that are providing last-mile market access for smallholder farmers, removing exploitative buying from predatory middlemen, and ultimately improving the financial livelihood of smallholder farmers through fair trade. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again, Francis Obrekwan of Agro Center.
Hello. Hi, good morning. How are you? Are you guys tensed? Don't worry, there will be a winner today. Hopefully, everybody believes their school is going to win, so all the best. So today we are going to have a very interactive session. Usually, the session is going to be more about some fields that you might not have looked into, typically because of how the educational system in Ghana. So today we'll be talking about technology. I know most of you are always excited about technology, ideally because most of you have mobile phones, even though some of you are not allowed to have it. When you go home, you go on WhatsApp, you go on Facebook, you go on Twitter, you go on etc. So today we'll be looking at a topic called Choose Tech. Choose Tech, creating value in the digital age. So we'll be going through a few ideas. We'll be going through a few technologies that are actually in Ghana. That was by the end of this session, I'm looking at picking your ideas, picking your interest in the technology software space. So I'll give you a brief background of myself. I'm a product of Maoli School. I completed in the year 2000. In the year 2000, I don't know where most of you were. Either your mom had met your dad, or maybe some of you were very babies with diapers, and then you were going to kindergarten with your lunchbox. So I read science in Maoli School. So in 2002, I went to KNUST. So for KNUST, I read materials engineering. I had wanted to read computer science. Back then, I loved computers a lot. So even after SS, I went to work in an internet cafe. So ideally, I was one of the cafe managers who were. Back then, it was a very prestigious job. If you're an internet cafe manager, people come, you write time on a piece of paper for them, and then you were like the boss, because very few people understood internet, and it was not as common as how everybody has on their phone. You had to go to a cafe to access it. So after I did materials, I couldn't get computer science, so I ended up doing materials engineering. But then still the passion was there. So after school, I said, why don't I go back to where my first lab was? So I enrolled in Kofi Annan ICT Center. I did a couple of computer courses. And then here I am today. I've been in the software space for more than 10 years. Even though I have a science background, I've shifted from engineering now to full technology. So by the end of the session, I'm hoping at least I should be able to have 10% of you shifting from your core where you want to go to into technology. I'll begin with a quote that says, technology gives the quietest student a voice. I'm sure many of you do ICT in school. So you go to the computer lab, you learn the basic part of a computer. And I'm sure many of you get excited when it's time for computer lab because you are going to actually, back then we had Windows 95, there was no internet, so you go and sit down and then you draw a nice Ghana flag. And then we're using paint, and then you paint it, and then they give you marks. That was what we were doing back then. But I'm sure now the ICT curriculum has improved very much. We are going to look at a few instances of what I call the old school versus the new school. So the old school was typically the courses that we wanted to do, the courses that most of our parents asked us to do, versus the new school, that's what now people want to do. Show by hands how many of you here who actually doing the course that they had wanted to do, or was their parents said, go and do science because you are smart, because you become a doctor. That's what it always is. You become a lawyer. There are a lot of people now doing litigation, so you might get money from being a lawyer. Or you become a bank manager. Typically, when we were growing up, they tell you bank manager was a very prestigious job. So we used to like the suits. And then when our uncles came, they said they were bank manager for this. Okay, we didn't even know the course you have to take to become a bank manager. We just like the title bank manager because we are overlooking a lot of money. Or you become a pilot. We had that dream also. So back then, you see Ghana Airways was one of their only DC-10 plane. I want to be a pilot and also fly and travel the world. Or you become an engineer. Once you are smart, you say, okay, once you don't get science, go and do electrical engineering, go and do civil engineering because you want to be an engineer. For politicians, I don't know how many of you, your parents say you should become politicians here. For that one, it comes along the way. But then most people do courses that later on, they have, not regret, but they are forced to do it. It's not their passion. They end up doing things because your mom, when you're growing up, it's a competition. When your results come, your mom said, hey, Kwesi had 6 ones, you had 7 ones, all of you should go and do science. Your parents will push you. You were young then, typically, you don't really know your bearings. So they tell you, go and do science, once you do science, you become a doctor, they were looking at courses that they couldn't do themselves, and then they were forcing it on their kids. So we have so many people I graduated, when we graduated from school, we were 53 in materials engineering. There's only one person practicing material engineering now. The 52 people are all MBA, they are in finance, they are in technology. They found themselves, ideally, because most of them they didn't know what we were about. We were the first batch for the course, so we were more like guinea pigs. So they would try the course today. If most of us fail, then they'll push it to second year. So it was more of a try and error. So typically, most people, you find out they didn't do the course that they had wanted to do. So they end up having, either they go to do the course themselves, or most of them have regrets in life. Let's fast forward into the future now. We are in 2018. It's more of what we call the digital age, the technology age. Now technology is everywhere. If you pick your phone as low as 1 CD, you can have even internet to browse the whole day. You can do whatever you want. You can download apps. You can even, if you want to even learn some basic tutorials, you basically just go on YouTube, type in, if you even don't know how to cook, you just go on YouTube and type how to cook banku. You find a chef who will be teaching you cut the onions this way, cut the okra this way, and then, so now you can virtually learn everything through the power of the internet. That is the new age we are. I call this the digital age. This is the age where now you can find kids as young as 3 years using iPad. So I have a daughter who is 4 years. She can take the phone, unlock it, look for Subway Surfer. It's a game that they play. So you find them playing the game, and then, so they know their way around. They can navigate very completely. They even know how to put phones on mute. They even know how to take pictures because they watch adults do it. So kids of today in the digital age are learning very fast, more than how we used to learn back then. We'll do a little bit of a throwback. So we'll look at how internet came to Ghana, when internet came to Ghana. So the first internet was actually in August 1995. Again, I don't know where most of you were. In August 1995, I was even young then. And then it was something we call dial-up. So basically, it was given by, let's say, Vodafone. By that time, it was Ghana Telecom. So they come and lay a long line in your house, and then they give you a phone. And then you connect, and then you dial it, so you hear some sound. And then when it connects, it was very slow. But it was actually more like paradise for us. Once you have access, you go on Yahoo, you see all those nice images, and then you see all those beautiful things, and then you are so excited. So that was also gave birth to what we call the internet cafes. So I became one of the internet cafe managers back then. It was actually that was how come the tech ecosystem was growing in Ghana. So once the internet came, it gave a lot of freedom to people who were very innovative. So once you have internet, you can actually innovate. And then people were learning of what was happening in the Silicon Valleys. People were learning of how to build softwares. Aside browsing, what was the next phase people were looking. So the tech ecosystem started growing gradually in Ghana. So we'll briefly talk about the tech ecosystem from where it has been to where it is now. And then we'll look at some of the ideas that people have actually built that you might know, you might not know about, that is actually improving the lives of millions of people in Ghana alone. So in the domain of technology, we broadly break them into two phases. We have the software, and then we have the hardware. There are a lot of it, but these are two principal phases. So the software is basically what we call the soft part. So you see apps. So when you open your phone, you see Facebook app. It's a software. So software are typically something that you cannot hold in hand. You can see, but you cannot hold, you cannot feel. And then you go to the bank, you want to withdraw money, the teller punches in on an application and says your bank balance is 5 cedis, you can't withdraw again. So that's also a software. And then we have the hardware. So the hardware is typically things that your phone is a hardware. If somebody flies a drone, it's a hardware. If they build robotics, it's also hardware. So these two components actually complement each other. Where can technology be applied? Can somebody tell me? It's on the board, but can somebody tell me? So virtually, technology can be applied everywhere. Technology forms the basis of everything. It can be applied in engineering. It can be applied in agriculture, in medicine, health. So those who want to become doctors, you can actually specialize in looking at the technology bit of medicine. Even the military. Now, advanced military is no longer about the soldiers who have a lot of biceps, who have a lot of muscles and all those things. It's more of warfare. It's more of technological warfare. So when America says they are very powerful, they have a rocket that they can launch using just technology, and it's going to travel all the way to Ghana. We don't hope for that. So that is the space of where technology has gotten to. Even in the financial sector. So if you go to the bank, even telcos are offering us a lot of applications that we can use to make our lives easy. And then also tech can be applied everywhere. So how is tech developing in Ghana? I've said a lot. So we are going to look at the development of tech in Ghana. So I mentioned quite a few places where tech can be applied. So the very common one we know is mobile money. You know, when you're in school, you call your mother, I don't have money, and then she says, I've sent you 50 cedis mobile money. So what do? You go to the agent, you allow cash out. The agent comes, you use a PIN, you withdraw your money. That is one of the biggest financial technology softwares we have in the country at the moment, mobile money. It's a simple SMS thing. You might not believe it, but it's one of the largest and the most used financial technology app we have. And then we have Habtel. It's also a company that does a lot of technology stuff. They build apps for payment. So you can sit at home, pay your water bill. First, even electricity bill first, you needed to go out, go and join a queue. And then when you get there, you present your card and then you buy it. But now you can actually buy electricity just sitting at home. You're just using an app, and then your meter will be loaded immediately. So let's say even at 12 a.m., the light goes off. Where are you going to get credit from? You can use them. And then Express Pay is also one of the biggest payment platforms. I can use it to send money. I can use it to buy credit. I can use it to do virtually everything financial. So in the past, some of the things that we needed to do, go out Sometimes you're in the office, you've forgotten to pay your DSTV bill, you've forgotten to pay your child's school fees. All these things you can pay. So now your mom can pay your school fee, your dad can pay your school fees through any of these platforms. So they don't need to go to the bank and then go and do a banker's draft. That is very, very old school. Very old school. So now it has been simplified that most people use. And then even in the agriculture sector I mentioned, we have what we call farmer line. So farmer line basically works, give information to smallholder farmers. So some of the farmers are in very rural areas. They don't have the luxury of us having all this internet, all these nice things around. So they don't even know. I'm sure most of you, you can look at the weather forecast on your phone and say, okay, in the next 1 week, it's going to rain. There's not going to rain, but the farmer doesn't have that. So farmer line has made it possible to send SMSs to farmers through their technology. So they tell the farmer, within this week, there will be rain, so that the farmer can plan and know that when do I weed, when do I sow, so basically so that they increase their yield. Also, they tell the farmers about market prices. So some of the farmers are in very rural areas. They don't even know how much a bag of maize costs. So when these people come and they say, I want to buy your maize, they quote very low prices for the farmers. So if the bag of maize is about 70 cedis, they go and tell the farmers, oh, it's 20 cedis. The farmer says, oh, is that true? It's 20 cedis. Okay, take it. So who loses? The farmer. But when you empower the farmer with information, you give them information, the farmer is able to now be empowered and say, okay, when he comes back and say, it's 50 cedis, say, no, I saw it on this SMS that is 70 cedis in the nearest market, so why are you trying to cheat me? So add some money to it, you understand? So it makes it very good for the farmers. And also they show the farmers where you can get quality farm inputs. So the farmers need to buy fertilizers, they need to buy seeds. Where do they get it from? So typically you can say, okay, Kojo Mensah in the next town sells NPK, he has some available. All you need to go is to go there. This is the power of technology creating value for smallholder farmers. And then we have what we call Nsmq. So Nsmq typically also gives information to smallholder farmers, virtually the same thing Farmer Line does. And then you have us, Agro Center. So we give access to market for smallholder farmers. Now the farmers have received all these tips. The farmers have harvested. Now they want to sell. Where do they sell? Who do they sell it to? So we have this online marketplace where farmers can upload even, let's say, 5 bags of maize, and then they sell it to people in the urban areas at fair market prices, and they can actually get logistics in the platform. This is using, so I'm from a science background. I'm in agric now. So basically because of the underlying factor, which is technology, that is actually creating value for all these things. And then even the health sector. How many of you have heard of M-Pedigree? Nobody. So typically in the drugs, in the sector, there's a lot of counterfeits. So you buy malaria drug, somebody sees somewhere and does the same thing, fake one, and then puts it in the system. So you have malaria, you rush to the nearest pharmacy, and then so give me Coartem. So they give you the Coartem, you go home, you take it. 2-3 days, you are still not feeling well. You bought the fake one. How do you know it's fake? You can't typically look at a pack and say, okay, this is fake. The color is somehow yellow, so it's fake. You can't do that. So M-Pedigree allows you to basically put some code on the drugs. When you buy it, you basically text it to a certain short code, and it gives you a response that the drug is fake or it's not fake. So you know what you are buying, and you can actually, so you can check it there and then in the pharmacy shop. If it's fake, you actually ask for your money or you get to change it. So you get to make instant decisions that's actually going to save your life. And then in the education sector, where we are. So initially it was more of you have to go to the classroom to learn. We didn't have most of these e-learning tools that were available. So we have one we call the chalkboard education. They've built this very simple application that even if you don't have internet, you can go through all your notes, you can read, you can actually get what you will be getting in the classroom. So when you're on vacation, say I'm going to vacation class, you know most of you go for vacation classes to go and show off your new shoe, your new dress, and then you want to go and see your girlfriend that is coming from a different school and etc. So you can actually tell mommy, okay, I need a tablet, I need to get these apps. And then once you have internet or no internet, you are connected to the world of limitless possibilities. Even in engineering, as I mentioned, we have Sesi Technology. He's also a very young guy in this technology field who is creating very hardware solutions for farmers. So one of the issues farmers were facing was post-harvest losses. Who knows post-harvest losses? So typically, when the farmers harvest their commodities, sometimes they don't store it well, and then the commodities go bad, and then the farmers lose money. So in the grains, the maize, the rice, etc. chain, if you store wet maize, it's going to grow moldy. If it grows moldy, it has a lot of aflatoxin. It becomes dangerous for humans, so you have to dry it. And then how do you dry it? So it has to go below a certain what we call moisture content. You can't typically pick maize and say, okay, this is too dry or not too dry. There's something we call moisture meter. So you basically put it in the maize, and then it's going to record the moisture content for you. So Sensei Technologies, they built one of these moisture meters that a smallholder farmer can just put in a sack of maize, wait for about 5 seconds, and it's going to tell them the moisture content of your maize is 12%. You can store it. So you can store it for, let's say, about 6 months. So these are some of the technologies that people are bringing up. And then we have Kumasi Hive. So any of you are in Kumasi Hive is a hardware technology place. So they build basically robotics. They build a hardware company. So you can pop in there and see some of the nice work that they are doing there. It might interest you to also learn a few things. So we've talked a lot about some of the key applications. Now let's look at some of the roles that you can play in a software space. There are a lot of, I couldn't list all of them. I basically listed a few of them. You can become a software engineer. And trust me, software engineers are one of the highly paid people now. They earn more than lawyers, if I have to be frank with you. If you find yourself in a very good software company, like Facebook, Google, etc., I'm sure you in poverty will be like this. So you can be a software engineer. You can be a software tester. So typically what a software tester does is, once somebody builds an application, someone needs to test it to make sure it meets some of the requirements. So it's just like a mason will build, and then the foreman will come and inspect the work is done. So somebody needs to check, because once you're building, you might not know where you've made mistakes. So a software tester is responsible for testing the whole software application to make sure that once we put it out there and people are using it, there will not be errors in it. You can be a business analyst. So a business analyst typically sits within the whole tech ecosystem. We have the business people. So you can build the app, but somebody needs to sell it. So the business analyst sits in the middle between the business and the technology. What he basically does is to say, we want to build this application. So he's a link between the business and the technology. What he does is to write documents saying that you have to build it this way, you have to use this and that. So he collects information from the business people who don't have tech background, give it to the tech people, take tech information, process it into business information, and give the business people to make decisions. So they play a very critical role. And then the engineering manager, overseeing chief technology officer, etc. You can even become a social media manager, where you handle social media accounts of large companies. So what are some of the skill sets you need to come into this tech space? You have to be passionate, because you have to be inquisitive. You have to be, when you see things, you have to look at what else can I use tech to do this? You have to think outside the box. It's the same across every field. You have to be very innovative. You have to be very unconventional, because the tech space keeps growing. So within the tech space, everything grows within 6 months. Within 6 months, new technologies come, everything change. So you can't learn, let's say, law that you learned in 1954 and then quote it now. No, it doesn't work in the tech space like that. And then you have to be willing to learn. And then finally, you have to stay in school. You find people say Bill Gates dropped out of school, whatever dropped out of school, but in Ghana, if you drop out of school, you'll be in trouble. So stay in school, finish the school, and then you can actually do all these things. So we look at where do you want to start from. So there are a lot of tertiary education schools offering computer engineering, computer science. There's a Ghana, India, Kofi Annan ICT Center at Parliament House, also very good resource. Meltwater, that's in East Legon, will teach you. IPMC, NIT, and then other affiliated tech training institutes. And then you can also self-learn. You go on the internet, you learn how to. So there are a lot of tools that you can use to learn. There's online classes that you can take to learn. Sorry. So what are some of the resources? I'll leave you with a few resources since I have very limited time. So you can go to Udemy. Udemy is an online course that is free. So you can choose a course. It's going to give you the number of days, number of weeks, I suppose, every curriculum, etc. It's the same for Code Academy. And then you can use Google to search. And then you can have your teachers and mentors who typically guide you through this journey. So thank you very much, and may the best school win.
Thank you very much, Mr. Breakwan. Now it's time for questions. But did you notice that our mentor this morning taught us that he knows technology, but not how to cook banku? So when he talked about banku, he said that you cut the onion, you cut the okra. Yes, I was listening. Another round of applause for him, please. So it's now time for you to ask him questions. Any question on your mind that you would want to ask our mentor this morning. The floor is open for you. Do we have any questions from our audience?
They're excited. All right.
Okay, so you talked about what AgroCenter does. How does the farmer who does not have a smartphone get all of that information that you say that you send to them?
Yes, so that's true. Farmers don't have smartphones, so you don't even find a farmer on Facebook.
Okay.
So what we basically do is we have two types of information. We have what we call the high tech, that is more of the apps, and then the very low tech, that is more of SMS and then voice services. So for farmers, they work with agents. So agents are people who are trained to use technology.
Okay.
Agents go to the farmers, they register them on the platform, they take their data, they take what they want to sell. But when it comes to receiving information, we give farmers information in local languages they understand. So let's say in the morning, the farmer is going to get a call on his phone. He pick it up. If he chooses a Hausa, he's going to speak for about 3-4 minutes, giving him the weather information, agriculture practices, etc., in languages they understand. So we make it easier for them to understand that.
Wow. That's quite innovative. So the farmer at Bojisango can get information about who they can sell their maize to and who not to. Do we have any other questions? Anybody with a question for our mentor this morning? Okay,
right.
So we'll give you the final word.
Okay.
What are your final words for them? And then I'll ask them to fill my evaluation forms for me.
So the final word is, I said you should stay in school. So try as much as possible to stay in school. And then do what you are passionate about. I'm sure in the next 5 to 6 to 10 years, we'll have a lot of innovative entrepreneurs coming out of you guys.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause for Mr. Francis Obrekwan. Thank you. So this morning, we have had someone from AgroCenter talking to us about technology, what used to be and what is. He mentioned the fact that you need to be passionate if you want to venture into technology, the skill set that you need, that is. You need to be inquisitive. You know how when we were young, they talked about curiosity killing the cat. Not anymore. Now, curiosity helps you to find out things that you didn't know before. And he also talked about thinking outside the box. And I want to link this to something that one of our mentors said on Thursday about disruption. So we need somebody who will give us a simpler way of preparing fufu and abenkwai. Do we get it? And we believe that those people are seated in this room right now. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been given some forms to fill for us. We want to know how impactful or otherwise these mentorship sessions are. Kindly fill the form for us. And when you are done, please raise your hand. Production assistants will come around and pick them up. Again, our mentorship sessions were sponsored by RMG, Ghana Limited, and Bond Savings and Loans. Tomorrow morning, we'll bring you another mentor to inspire and to tell you about some of the other areas in science. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow morning.
I can conveniently pay for my utility bills, my son's Cartoon Network on DSTV, and renew my internet services package. I can securely send my sweet mother her monthly allowance by simply transferring funds from my bond account into hers. I can also pay the gardener through any of the mobile money platforms available. I can verify if the check to the vendor has cleared. Now let me guess my sister is here at time so I can peacefully go back to sleep. With Bond Mobile app, you can do your banking anywhere. Download the Bond Mobile app on Apple Play Store or Google Play Store today. Bond, your success, our passion.
When cleaning your vehicle by valeting, steaming, waxing or polishing, make sure the engine is also sound. Servicing your vehicle with Gold synthetic oil and any quality Gold oil massages the engine, removes deposit, protects it from wear and tear for longer lasting performance, and makes your vehicle feel pampered. Made for diesel and super engines. Remember, after every 15,000 kilometers of enjoying your ride, service your engine with Gold synthetic oil.
Gold is a champion. That's why I, Azuma Nelson, 3 times world boxing champion and a patriot, always choose Gold.
Ashene Pankasa. Gold, good energy.
I can conveniently pay for my utility bills, my son's Cartoon Network on DSTV, and renew my internet services package. I can securely send my sweet mother her monthly allowance by simply transferring funds from my bond account into hers. I can also pay the gardener through any of the mobile money platforms available. I can verify if the check to the vendor has cleared. Now let me guess my sister is here at time so I can peacefully go back to sleep. With Bond Mobile app, you can do your banking anywhere. Download the Bond Mobile app on Apple Play Store or Google Play Store today. Bond, your success, our passion.